them random.
Apparently, they dragged me on Twitter. I don't give a because Twitter's not a real place.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of This Week in Hip Hop Twitter. I am your host, Vegas of Hip Hop Now Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the producers of Hip Hop Now Podcast over at patreon.com/hip hop now. Shout out to them. Been making it happen for a while. You should join them. The link is in the description of this episode. With me, as always, you know him. He got a bunch of shit for me, and you know I ain't gonna like it. Yentz, what's good, man?
What's going on, Vegas? Yeah, we got some stuff, and yeah, you probably won't like it.
Oh, damn it. All right, well, let's get right into it. Yentz, what the fuck are people talking about on hip hop Twitter?
All right, this first topic is I'm gonna just read off the tweet. It says Meek Mill might be, a cornball when it comes to social media, but when it comes to his lyrical ability, he's without question top 10 of any rappers alive now.
What else did Meek Mill say?
Right, it had to be Meek the one to put
Right.
that out there.
What else did his homie say? What do you feel about that?
I don't agree with it. I mean, if you just pull one contemporary, like, he's not better than Kendrick Lamar, in my opinion. You know. And then as far as Meek Mill goes, like, I'm not the hugest fan, but what he had, I think it was a mixtape here, the Dream Chasers. Now I thought that was pretty dope. I thought the Dream Chasers was dope, but that's about as far as my Meek knowledge goes, other than, the few things you might see here, there, a single here, there, whatever. He's cool, but I wouldn't say what this person said. There's no way. There's no.
Top 10 of MCs alive now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could say that. I would have to name a 10, but I think between some younger artists, some newer artists, quote unquote newer artists, mixed with some older artists that's still spitting, I don't know if I could put them ahead, before a couple of cats. I will say this about me with Meek Mill. I honestly feel Meek Mill really only has one album that's not great. I feel like his first album didn't live up to, like you said, Dream Chasers, like what you got from that. But I feel like since then, even during the back-to-back season, that album wasn't whack. I just think that, I don't know, like people say, people just don't like cats yelling in hip-hop, which is weird because it's like, I think there's room for it, right? Like there's room for all kinds of rappers, but I thought Meek Mill is dope. I thought he could rap, but top 10 nicest, like, is he better than anybody on the locks? Probably not. Is he better than Nas? No. Is he better than Ransom, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q? I don't know. Like,
hey, and look, there were cats who pretty much called out a lot of the names that you called, and this cat stuck to his guns and said yes. I was like, wow. I mean, yeah.
I don't think so. Like, I can't see it. I'd put him in maybe a top 15. I wouldn't lie about that.
Right.
Like, because I feel like I think he's in the vicinity. Put it this way. I don't care what y'all say. I put him in front of Wale. Bars.
Bars.
And that's mostly because Wale is just annoying. But Wale can spit too. When he wants to. When he's not trying to make a radio single, he's actually really dope. So I don't know. That was pointless. What else is happening on on hip hop Twitter?
Well, if you thought that first one, this one, okay, there was a person who says, I listen to a Rakim song and keep asking what the hell is he rapping about?
What?
Yes, and the person goes on to say that Rakim lacks substance, and that Rakim is a true lyrical miracle, spiritual, biblical.
I might not argue that one. I ain't gonna front. But first of all, somebody tell this cat, first of all, you don't talk about the God like that, okay? And I ain't talking about Jehovah. I'm talking about the God, Rakim Allah. It lacks substance.
Right. That's the biggest part that, like, I'm like, well, you can't be listening or haven't listened to make that comment, you know, lack of substance. I mean, just 2 songs right off the bat. Follow the Leader. There's some substance in that song. There's some, you know, I mean, Rakim always sprinkles some shit in his songs if you listened to his music. The Ghetto. I mean, substance? I mean, I can't. I don't know what to say about the lack of substance part. That is just totally crazy. You know, you don't know what the hell he's saying. I'm like, wow. I mean, Rakim is one of the guys that I've never thought to myself, what is he saying? Everything is clear. You know, I mean, he's got, you know, his own way of, you know, getting his message across, but I've never, you know, been stumped by what he's saying like that, like however this person is trying to to put it.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing, because when you think about like Paid in Full, right? Like what's the concept of that record? You can't possibly, I mean, it might be simplistic by today's standards, but it's still relevant and it's still understandable. Or a song like Ghetto, right? So the lack substance, that's just somebody who just has a hot take.
Yeah,
and they want to, you know, rile up the hip hop police.
They did.
Miracle spiritual, yeah, he might be the father of that shit, because even though we like it, sometimes you say to yourself, how can Rakim be so into music and never come across as a nigga that parties? Like, this nigga always serious. Like you could be in a strip club and he got lessons for you. Like, yo, the lessons? Nah, dog. We in here in a strip club. We ain't trying to hear all of that. You know, the sun, moon, earth, and stars and all of that.
The pyramid rap.
Yeah, we don't want to hear them pyramid raps. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, Illuminati police, get out of here with that. We ain't trying to hear all that shit. I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it. I think we kind of talked about something a little bit similar about, I think I had mentioned how I don't know if I saw or heard this before, where somebody was like, you know, they tried to listen, a younger person tried to listen to Illmatic and it was boring. And I could see why they would think that, because of today's standards of production,
right,
and what's being presented as a rap song. So if you listen to Rakim, well, that's a even more basic version of Nas. You know what I'm saying? That he just has to say what he says. And I could see somebody saying like, man, Nobody care about them big clothes, big hoodies, and big hat. You know, dressing like our era, and we don't even dress like our era no more. But yeah, don't ever disrespect the God. Don't you ever do Rakim lack substance.
Yeah, that oh man, I that shit blew my mind when I saw that. I don't know. I just don't know what to say. That it's false. It's period. That's the only thing you can say, that is not true in regard to Rakim.
Well, let me ask you this: have you read his autobiography?
No, but you and I have talked about it, and I do plan on getting it to read it, because from what you told me about it, it sounds like it's a really good read, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll leave the link to my review in the description of this episode. But I feel like, and here's a spoiler alert. But that Rakim autobiography and this Dilettante book, to me, is like essential reading for anybody who either wants to be a producer or wants to be a rapper or claims to be an authority on either of the two, because it's sort of like a master class in technique. Because Rakim's book, I mean, if you want to say he lacks substance, you read that book, you won't say that anymore. Because if you think about how most cats write their rhymes, and then you see how Rakim does it, Rakim, his paper has to look like geometry.
Huh.
Because he writes his rhymes the way a musician would write music.
And that makes me think about how, you know, a lot of people you know, always talk about how Jay doesn't write anything down, Big didn't write anything down, you know, and how people, you know, look at that as like, you know, the coolest shit ever. But then from what you describe in Rakim's process, that sounds like, you know, some like something people would be studying, you know, like you would,
Yeah.
you know, it'd be like a fucking, I don't know, a blueprint on how to construct your rhymes or whatever like that. So yeah, I definitely won't pick that up.
Yeah, because you know what it is? It's a difference. As an MC myself, it's a difference between being only invested in what you say and whether, you know, you said it in a slick way. It's another thing to not only be invested in what you say and say it in a slick way, but place it strategically within the beat. He places his words within the rhythm. I don't know
Yes.
how you can do that. I would lose my rhythm trying to technically place it like this word needs to land here. These two words should be said closer together. Who does that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
It'll
you kind
be,
of just organically do it, but
yeah, it would be dope to have some kind of footage of the process, but Rakim just such a recluse type person,
mhm,
you know, like even to get this book is pretty damn surprising, because like,
right.
you know, you hear the music, but you know, I mean, unless you were at the venue or walked in the same circles as him, you probably would never, you know, I mean, not many interviews. Even in his interviews, the way he talks about everything,
Mhm.
it just seems like somebody. I mean, he's no doubt one of the coolest. He just sounds like an old jazz musician. You know, I mean,
Right.
his family. You know, he's rooted in it, so he just sounds like that. And you know, it just seems like somebody, if you could really sit him down and pick his brain, or if there was ever any footage of them recording, and like for documentary purposes, that would be one of the dopest things to me, just to see how that his process goes like that.
I would say you'll probably never see it
Yeah.
But it is in the book
Mm.
because of he his writing style and his method is to kind of be he's like a real writer. Like
Hmm.
he's in a dungeon and he's alone
Right.
and he's working on this stuff and he's trying things and he only really emerges to get more to feed whatever he's creating, and then he goes back in that dungeon. When he shows up to the studio, he already has it.
Right.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
like you wouldn't I would doubt very seriously you would hear of the stories like you hear like a death row recording session or anything like that.
Right.
It was probably just like you're saying, him, the rhyme book, and
Coaching
that's it.
cipher, right?
Oh, just cipher. Yeah, like that's all it was. So yeah, it's probably
Yeah, it's but I again, like I'm not finished with the Dilla time. But what I've read so far and the way the book is laid out with priming you for when they start to speak in depth about Dilla's techniques, they've already established why people and producers revere what he does because it's very similar to what Rakim did.
wow.
Very similar, in my opinion, because we ain't just talking about dope beats. We talking about changing the course of music, just
Hmm.
like Rakim using John Coltrane's, playing style to change the course of how we rhyme.
Hmm.
It's just really, it's the type of stuff that's deep that, as hip hop fans, we should be appreciated. So when someone says lacks substance, they don't get it. They just don't.
No, sir.
Well, that's what we have for y'all this week in Twitter. You see what happens. People show up, they type things, and then we respond. And who knows? If Joe Rogan can still be around, hip hop Twitter is still around, right?
Oh God.
Right? Damn. But thank y'all for listening. Please know that this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. All you have to do is search for the podcast called Hip Hop Now. Hip Hop Twitter is available within that stream, but you can also go to YouTube where you can check out the video version of This Week in Hip Hop Twitter. On behalf of the homie Yentz, I'm Vegas. Till next time, just think about what you tweet, man. That's all. Just
Have
you
some.
lack substance. God,
I was about to say, have some substance
have
in
some
your
substance
tweets.
in your damn tweets. Well, we're gonna find you. Don't ever talk about the God like that. Okay. We know he got the big ass hoodies and the pants where you gotta, go all the way to the last hole in the buckle because they're too damn big. And he got all brown on too. What you
All
right.
brown. Oh shit.
All brown hip hop UPS. But he's the gods. See, I need to chill. Okay. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Drop it on the random.